Today is Saturday, December 13th, 2025. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is the listener feedback show for Survivor 49, Week 12.
That's right. 2 shows a week, recaps on Wednesdays after the episode airs, and then we gather on Saturday to check in with the superfans, see what they thought, maybe get some predictions to help in the fantasy league. Sometimes people show up with observations, insights that they bring from their own particular walk of life, which is that? Anyway, from their particular perspective and help us see something in a completely different way through a different lens. We love all of that. And we're excited to have, how many?
22?
22 superfans checking in here with their thoughts on the penultimate episode and some predictions for the finale. And in some cases, just to express some general frustration. Which is in the category of, what do you think of the season overall?
Hey, I did plenty of that in the recap. So.
Yes.
You know, I do want to bring something up that we completely spaced.
Yes, we've been talking about this for days afterwards.
How we missed that, we don't know. That it wasn't just Sage that voted for Steven, so did Christina.
Yes.
We
We checked our notes and we had both written independently that Christina had voted for Sophie.
Yes.
And that was completely
Steven
false. It was a unanimous vote.
I knew it. No doubt. Yeah, wrote it down.
We've been dealing with our own goofs in ineptitude in general observation.
And then we went back and rewatched and went, what? We didn't see that.
Right.
How did we not? I think we just were so shocked.
We convinced ourselves. Yeah.
Sage, that it was just her. I don't know.
We laid it all on Sage, but Christina was right there too. Yeah, that's been funny. That was our Friday discussion around the house.
Even more then. So yeah, we've been talking about that too. So. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I expected to have people in the.
Hey, did you notice you didn't mention Christina?
Yeah, nobody said anything. Did you notice we didn't say anything about that? Yeah. That's because we didn't notice that. Anyway, okay.
It just falls into that other general bucket of malaise that was the last episode. Anything else? Any other points of order that we need to cover? Mistakes, retractions?
Let's get right to Pete and hear what he has to say.
All right.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is Pete from Boston calling here. Oh my. Well, what an insane episode. I really enjoyed it, but once again, disappointed in the outcome. Because I was confused. But I'm going to let out a great big whoa! Because the weather's so cold here, my voice is a little cracked here in New England. And being disgusted with this episode because I wanted to throw the remote at the TV. But no, it was a great episode though. But again, how is it that Steven was voted out unanimously? I mean, okay, he had the blocker vote. He blocked Savannah's vote, which was big. I knew it when Rizzo, Savannah, and Soph went on their reward. I knew something big was going to happen. And Rizzo, now he's cocky, but I give him credit. They did outsmart Steven and Sage and Christina. But my goodness, Rizzo now, because Final Five is the last he can use it now, whether he needs it or not. But how did he get away with not needing it for himself this episode in Final Six? But even for Soph got only, Steven's vote? That was it. Well, how does that help Christina and Sage? Sage. Maybe they thought they couldn't beat Steven because he's likable and he's a challenge beast. But hey, it's not going to get him any pointers now. And right now, from what I could see with the edit, I think Savannah's going to take it unless something drastic changes. I mean, her and Rizzo, there'd be quite a show, them going at it at Final Tribal next week. Because Sage, they're not going to need Sage anymore. I could see her leaving at Final Five unless she drastically wins an immunity. Christina is a scapegoat, and whoever's in fire is going to be dragged to the end. Christina's going to be a dragger or so. Even if Savannah doesn't win a Final Four challenge, I could see her winning fire too. But man, I mean, it's so her too. She wasted the knowledge as power. I mean, it could have been a great move for her, but Steven had already used it before. Well, it wasn't what she thought. It was the blocker vote that he already used. So really, that was a poor showing with the jury. Right now, to me, Savannah's got it. Rizzo is the next one. But I think him being cocky with this bluff and idol crap and protecting Savannah may hurt him. But he could take it too. But the other ones, forget it. Sage got no shot. Soph got no shot. Christina has no knowledge of the game. So there you have it. There's your Final Five there. But it was a good episode. I enjoyed it. Didn't like the outcome. And I'm just shocked that Steven was voted out unanimously. I mean, what did we not see, guys? I gotta see Steven's interview to get clarification and maybe even hear Probst's podcast too. It was crazy. But I'm looking forward to the finale with the Final Five. I think it'll be interesting, though. Take care. Woo.
Whoa. Thanks, Pete.
See, Pete knew it was a unanimous vote.
Yes, he was paying attention. That's funny. You were giving Sage all that guff about bad.
Oh, she still deserves
poor awareness and whatnot, and we were missing out too.
All I could think of during Pete's woohoo was he's letting out my frustration.
Yeah, that sounded like some deep sadness in that one. A little bit of cry at the end. That's a whole nother. He's got such wide range with the woohoo. It can convey so much. So he just showed us another side.
Wherever our imagination can go.
Yeah, there you go. Steven didn't have a whole lot that I found interesting to say. He said that he had told Sage and Christina exactly how it worked, that he had to play the block of vote before tribal council. And who was it? It was Sophie said that Christina came to her a couple of hours before they had to leave for tribal council and told her that he had a block of vote, but that Christina didn't share the details. So I don't know. Maybe Sage and Christina weren't listening either.
Probably not.
When he explained it. Yeah, because they had already decided to go against him. I'm still not buying the whole deal with he's a bigger threat. Who did Sage just beat in an immunity challenge? Who went out third from the end? Steven. She just beat Steven in an immunity challenge. I think she's lasted longer in other immunity challenges than him. Who got her butt kicked in that immunity challenge? Sage by Savannah. I'm not sure what's going on there with her reasoning. It continues to confound me.
Well, she had it in her head the whole time because Steven has won. Sage hasn't won. If she had actually won over Savannah, she would be looking at that more. But Steven has actually beaten her.
Got to carry some weight that you've beaten Steven, that you just did it hours ago.
Yep. Well, not so much.
Yeah. I found it interesting in the deleted scenes clip that Savannah was favoring Sage. So I don't know if that's a setup.
She said she wanted to protect Sage as well as Sophie and Rizzo because she didn't want Sage to leave yet.
Yeah. Now, is that because Savannah wants to have her in the final three potentially? And
I don't know.
And basically take her to task for saying that Savannah was the mean girl when it was really Sage? Does
she plan on turning on Rizzo and she's going to need a couple people she trusts more? We know she and Christina, she only has, if she were going to make a move on Rizzo, she only really has Sophie and Sage because she and Christina don't gel at all. They can't even converse.
Right.
So that may be why.
Could be. All right. Thanks, Pete. Next up, we got a call from Rebecca.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. This is Rebecca calling from Oahu. I just had to watch it again to really clarify my thoughts. And I think my main impression is, dear Sage and Christina, stop flipping. What are they thinking? How are they voting? I just don't get it. Why does Sage keep removing her sights in her intentions in the game and just scooting off in another direction? I mean, it's crazy play like that, hey, maybe I'll eat my words, maybe she'll win, but I don't think she has any chance of winning. After watching all the dynamics, obviously, Sophie, Rizzo, and Savannah are in total lockstep, and they just want to control the next 2 votes and control who goes to fire. And I think Savannah might have an amazing chance of actually winning the next 2 challenges. I think it's going to be Sage out at 5, because if I were those 3, I would save spaghetti messy Christina for fire, because I don't think she could do anything in the fire challenge, and then let the chips fall where they may for 1, 2, and 3, which I think the winner will be Savannah, second place will be Rizzo, and third place, most likely no votes, will be Sophie. It was a really great episode, and all I have to say is, if you want somebody out, vote them out. If you think Savannah is your biggest threat, get rid of her. They had so many chances. And again, Sage is playing with emotion and not strategy. Savannah and Rizzo are playing with total strategy. Their games are very different. Rizzo is very showboaty, but he has actually an amazing social game because, once again, he convinced Christina and Sage to vote against Steven. How does he do that? He's just a skinny little kid. And Savannah's kind of a beast. She's really strategic, and she wins all the challenges. So the 2 of them are actually playing a great game, and the others, I'm not sure what they're doing. I don't see a lot of strategy. Steven tried really hard. He definitely could have won this game. He was a great pick for a USB, Joanne. He just got outmaneuvered by Savannah and Rizzo, which this late in the game, it was exciting. I can't believe he had to block a vote and he still didn't get enough votes to get out who he wanted. That was pretty intense. Okay, so my prediction for the final is Savannah wins immunity at 5, Savannah wins immunity at 4, and she sends Christina into fire, maybe against herself. Wouldn't that be cool? She goes in against herself. People have done that before. Because if she put herself in fire against Christina and won, that would solidify her win. That would just show her that she has outwit and outplayed everybody, even with Rizzo's being able to outsmart people like crazy and showboat and say, my idol, no, I'm not going to play my idol. I think Savannah has been just a little bit ahead of him in the game. We'll see what happens. I can't wait to hear what everybody else's predictions are. I've enjoyed the season. I'm looking forward to 50. I've already thought of who I'd like as my USB for 50. I think I'm going to go for Christy because I really liked her in her season. I thought she got robbed and she was a challenge beast. But it's 49. Let's not move ahead to 50. Thank you, Joanne and Stacy. Have a great weekend, everyone.
That's great. 50, 50, 50. Let's not move ahead. Oh.
Well, we can. I think what that says is, okay, we're ready to be done with 49 and move on to 50.
Yeah, I fully understand
that. It's kind
that.
of over,
Yeah.
But I still want to see how it plays out.
Yep. Steven said he was most disappointed in Sage because he felt like they had a really good alliance going and it was strong. And he said they spent lots of time talking strategy. So he was most confused, most disappointed in that flip.
She didn't shy away from it, to give her credit for that. Yep, she did it. Yep. She was unapologetic for it, really.
You're talking about Sage?
Yes.
Talking to him? Yeah, because she said he was a threat. Then she followed that with, what just happened, I don't understand.
Yeah.
So that was in keeping with the
well, I
I'm
think
all over
what
the
she
place.
didn't understand is why Rizzo didn't play his idol more than
Yeah, but he had explained
Steven.
it.
She knew the Steven vote.
Yeah. Yep. Good stuff. Thanks, Rebecca. Yeah. We're not
But
thinking about
he
50
lied
yet.
so much that, you know.
I guess if you might could infer, he didn't say it explicitly, but he didn't think that the jury thought much of Rizzo. That he was basically discounting him would be my interpretation of what he said. It just
I
it was
thought
like
that
he's going to
anyway.
play it, he's not going to play it, blah blah. Whatever.
Yeah.
Do what you're going to do, and
Stop just jerking people around.
good
I
stuff.
mean, I think he thinks he's entertaining them highly, and they're kind of like, man.
Yep.
But I could be wrong. But that was my thought all along, is that I don't think they like you kind of, they don't seem entertained.
At times they have been, and other times not so much. Didn't look like they were into it this last time for sure. Thanks, Rebecca. Next up, we got an email from Crystal in Santa Rosa, California.
Hello, friends. First of all, I have to say I cannot believe you guys lived in California and never had Tres Leches cake. It means 3 milks. I never knew that. I had heard of it, but I didn't really know anything about it. OMG, you missed out. It's a delicious Mexican dessert that's a sponge cake soaked with condensed milk and has a fluffy light cream topping. So good. I want you to promise me you'll find a bakery that sells it and give it a try. Do you know where we live? I know of one bakery.
Well, we went to that Mexican bakery. They probably have it there. We just didn't realize it.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I didn't see anything like that at all. But we could go look at. You're right. There is one there. But would you call that a bakery? They call it kind of an ice cream shop.
We thought it was an ice cream shop. We went in. They didn't have ice cream, but they had a lot of baked goods.
Well, they had some ice cream, but
nothing we wanted.
Very limited.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had
Anyway.
2 or 3. Anyway, we will try that place.
We'll look
I was
for it.
thinking, where else could we look? The one over here by us definitely didn't have any, and they're only open certain times. Yeah. We don't have a lot
That's
to
not
choose
a Mexican
from, is my point.
bakery anyway. Yeah. I think there might be another Mexican bakery. I think I've seen something. Okay, continue.
Okay, now on to the show. I am crushed that Stephen is out. Although I made Sage my USB after the merge, I absolutely adored Stephen and found him to be a well-rounded player. It was a gut punch to see him go, and I have no idea why Sage did that. But my best guess is she thinks he was the biggest challenge threat for the last one. I feel like Christina should have done more to discourage her in that decision. So sorry, Joanne. He was a very special USB. Maybe we shall see him in the future. Tribal was very exciting with Sophie blowing up her game like that. I thought she was going to listen to her abuela, or her grandmother. She had said before that she didn't want to sit next to Savannah or Rizzo in the final. But a taco dinner changed all that? Come on, girl, really? Hope that the guacamole, or is it guacamole? Guacamole was worth $1 million. Rizzo. I mean, I guess we have to be honest and admit his idle play, or should I say non-play, is his superpower. I can't think of another player that did as well with one for so long out in the open.
Yeah.
He does have a good social game because he's a good actor. Knowing the real person is Jeff's mantra, but I don't think you have to reveal it if you're a good enough actor. I do think the tears are real, though. Someone like Savannah would have sniffed him out if he was a fraud with his emotions, because she's self-absorbed and would be repelled by someone like her. Narcissists don't work well together. The ultimate lock on his win will be when he cuts Savannah loose next tribal. He already has Sage and Christina wanting her gone, so he just needs Sophie to get on board, and Savannah's gone. Unless she wins another immunity. Ugh. I hope the last one is that heavy snake bag thing of a balance endurance one. I'll give that girl this. She gets in the zone. Rizzo will take Sophie and Christina to the final. Sage will be number 4 out when Jeff says her name. She'll be confused. Looking forward to hearing what everyone else thinks. Now I'm going to make tacos, then go get a Tres Leches cake. You could probably get them easily there.
Thanks, Crystal.
All right, up next, we've got a call from Ryan.
Hello, Joanna and Stacy. This is Ryan from Central Iowa. Oh, my goodness. This episode was frustrating. this last few weeks have been frustrating, I think, and it's not necessarily because they're bad episodes. And after Nate was voted out and then MC was voted out, I called it and said that the three of them were now a lock for 7 and probably 5. I think I'm disappointed in Sage the most because I feel like she took a shot once, potentially twice, but not really, and was kind of stabbed in the back by Sophie S. And rather than go after it again and doing it one more time, burying the hatchet to get rid of somebody that was probably a bigger threat to her game in Savannah, she couldn't do it. And I think that's just the flip-flop of emotions for her and her gameplay have probably been the most frustrating for me. Final 5, I think I agree with you. I think it's 5 is Sage, 4 is probably Christina, 3 is going to be a no-vote goat of Sophie B. And then 1 and 2 are going to kind of be determined about how they can share. But I think that if you look at the two of them with Savannah and Rizzo, Savannah really only has one thing to play in her game, and that is that she dominated in the physical challenges. She has played, from our perspective, a very sloppy and very bad personal game in how she's relating to the other people, and she is kind of just following Rizzo's lead. She just kind of follows along with him, not really making her mark in the game, just letting Rizzo kind of be the one leading and making the decisions from what we've seen. While he doesn't have the physical game and challenges, he's just dominated the game in getting them to do what he wanted. He wanted out Sophie S, so he plays on the backstabbing to Sage and the rest of the people. Hey, she stabbed you in the back. She stabbed us in the back. Let's go after her. Let's get this revenge. And then this week, they do the same thing and Steven, he's your biggest threat in the challenge. Well, Savannah is just as big of a threat, if not more. And so I see the two of them going to the final 2. And I think that Rizzo's going to come out ahead because I think he's played an all-around better game. This season has been a letdown, and Jeff lied to us when he said it was going to get so much better after the merge. It's not. It's not gotten so much better. That's my final 5. I think that's what is going to happen. I hope Sage can somehow come out, dominate and win and get to the final 3 and talk her way into a championship because she's my USB, and so I don't think it's gonna happen. Have a great rest of the week, and I look forward to what the rest of the fans have to say.
Excellent. Thanks, Ryan. Next up, we got a call from TitoBurrito.
Hello, Joanne, Stacy, and all of you other fellow Survivor fans out there. This is TitoBurrito calling from Boston today. So, when did we stop listening to our grandparents? I really thought after Sophie had attested that her grandmother really would have suggested a specific route to use her advantage, that she would do so, and she didn't, and that's what she gets. But at the same time, I guess she didn't really lose anything because Sage is a wild player that we can never predict anything that Sage is doing throughout the whole season. Overall, I'm not going to say this is a bad season. I think that this is a fine season. It's just people are not doing what I would want or expect, and that shouldn't correlate to a bad season. That just means it's not in my wheelhouse of things that I would have done. So yeah, overall, okay. Also backtrack a little. I haven't called or reached out this whole season. I've just been kind of listening and watching from the background. Usually I'm driving in my car back and forth to Philly, so I never really have a chance to chime in before the deadline. But this time, I just had to. GG, Steven. You tried. You even Stevened. All right, y'all. Hopefully everyone's having a happy and safe holidays. Peace out, TitoBurrito. Bye.
All right. Great to hear from you again, Tito. That's probably a fair take. You don't want to label it a bad season because they don't do what you want them to. But I think in terms of overall gameplay, there could be some criteria for grading seasons between each other.
Oh, I straight up emotional.
Emotionally for you,
yes,
this is a bad season.
I wouldn't say it's a bad season. What I would say is I don't really care about anybody left.
Oh, that's another one
Whether
too.
they
Apathy is one of the
win or not.
strongest fails too.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but that's me.
Yeah.
Would I think that Rizzo, Savannah would deserve Sophie? No, I wouldn't. Sage, no. Christina, as far as deserving, no. But I'd be okay seeing her win if she got if she got there.
I wouldn't understand it at all, though.
What I know. But what we
That
know
happens.
from the past
Yeah.
is that it's a not you vote.
Yes.
A vote for Christina is a not voting for Rizzo or Savannah.
Yeah.
Kind of
That
thing.
could be. That could be.
So I actually could, I think, accept that, even though it wouldn't be very satisfying. I could still accept it because she's been. It wouldn't be for her gameplay. It would be for her personality and who she is as a person.
The
I
fact
think-
that she didn't offend a whole bunch of people during
well,
the
that
course
too,
of
yeah.
26 days.
Yes. It would be, I like you. I'm giving it to you. Go spend this on your family. And kind of vote. So, but I really, Sage and Sophie, no for me.
Good deal. Thanks again, Tito. Next up, we got an email from Matt and Summer in East Tennessee. Hey, Joanne and Stacy and Survivor friends, we're back at home base, but with the recent weather here, we would rather be somewhere sunny and warm, like maybe, say, Hawaii. Haha, we see you, Rebecca. We've been fairly positive about this season, but honestly, what are we even watching at this point? Week after week, we hear the castaways come up with smart strategies to further their game, seemingly have the numbers to follow through, and do the complete opposite at Tribal. We were frustrated from the first scene of Sage and Steven congratulating themselves on taking out Sophie S., all the way to Sage's final comment to Steven. Okay, Sage, you can't beat Steven at the end, so you and Christina give up your best shot at even getting to Final 3. Someone make it make sense, because we are dumbfounded. We have cheered for so many, including Steven, Jawan, Sage, Christina, and even Sophie B this season, but right now, we just want to tell them to all go home and think about what you've done. That's great. We can't even get excited about our USB Rizzo for somehow holding on to his idol this long with his constant and pointless tribal showboating. Who else is betting he'll be wearing that idol at the final tribal? Oh well, back to the here and now. The only question we had in JSFL this week was whether to pick Steven or Sage as the vote out. We wisely changed our initial pick of Sage to Steven, with the rationale being that he was viewed as a bigger threat and only had a 50-50 chance in the immunity challenge. Speaking of the immunity challenges, how is it that there has been such a heavy proportion of challenges that require pain tolerance, lower body/core strength, and low center of gravity? There has been a preponderance of those. We try to keep our conspiracy theory hobby separate from Survivor, but come on, man. It seems pretty clear the producers have found their Parvati 2.0 in Savannah and are going to run with her to the bitter end. There's always a temptation to think things like that, but some of these things have to be built so far in advance, there's no way that they could pull that off. Our predictable predictions for the finale include Sage's walk of shame to the jury next, Christina and Sophie in the longest fire-making challenge in Survivor history, and Rizzo finishing second with Savannah the winner. Looking forward to what the other superfans have to say, and thanks for all you do. P.S. Belated happy birthday to Addie. We really enjoy your thoughtful comments and feedback. Thanks, Matt and Summer. Yeah, I mean, we could possibly see the return of matches. That could happen with the fire making challenge. I think you're onto something there. That would not surprise me with this group. Next up, we got a call from Pat.
Hey, Joanna, Stacy, and Survivor friends. This is Pat calling in this morning. I wanted to say this episode was okay. I was really disappointed in it. The challenges to me personally weren't very exciting. And then I was disappointed in the play of Sophie. I knew whenever she didn't take Rizzo's immunity idol, I just thought, girl, your game is over. You messed up. Speaking of Rizzo, I really think now that this game is Rizzo's to lose. I think if he makes it to the end, which I think he will, I don't think the players will vote Savannah over him. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. That could be just hoping that Savannah doesn't win. But if she does win, she's earned it, and I won't be too disappointed in that. But speaking of disappointment, am I the only one that is kind of aggravated with Prope? I feel like he's led us on this season talking about how in the second half the game is going to be exciting and blah, blah, blah. And I hate to use this word, but I feel like he's a liar. I feel like he's lied to us. I don't know why. I don't know why he felt like he had to say that to keep us watching, because us Survivor fans are going to watch. But I just feel like he's lied to us the whole season talking about this season. And I'm not sure why that is. I don't know why he's felt like he had to, because every episode I'm watching it kind of anticipating that something big or something first time or something over the top is going to happen. And to me, it's been complete opposite of that. It's been a pretty boring season for me personally. I love Survivor. I hate to say that, but it's been boring. It's not been anything special. And I don't know why he felt like he had to do that. I guess maybe because of what I've said, he felt like he's had to say that to keep us watching. But then if that's true, that makes me not trust anything else he has to say about the episodes or Survivor in general. So I hate to be negative, but I don't know. I would have felt better if he wouldn't have said anything. If he would have just let us watch it and not give us false hope, or at least they say false hope that something big is going to happen or something exciting is going to happen. I feel like it's like my parents telling me that every time I ask for a bike for Christmas, they keep saying, well, wait for Christmas. But then Christmas shows up and I didn't get the bicycle. And it's like, well, you could have just told me that Santa wasn't bringing the bike, but oh well, that's just me. You guys have a good day, and gosh, I don't know. I don't know who to root for. Maybe Sophie, but we'll see y'all next time.
All right. Thanks, Pat. Good job.
I'm with you. Prope's lied.
And it's not the first time. He's done that in the past with mediocre, boring seasons seasons that were problematic. He's puffed them up in the beginning. If you go back and watch him talk about this, I was just watching a clip this morning where he was talking about it before 49 started. And it dawned on me, he's using 49 to pitch 50 because he said it's a little bit of a slow start in 49, but we reminded him that the seats for 50 weren't completely filled and that 2 people from this season could make it. And then we saw a transformation in this cast. And we had all this stuff happening as they jockeyed to potentially get one of those seats on 50, and it was like, oh, he used this whole thing as a pitch for 50. That's where this came from. And I don't know. Well, it won't be too long. We'll be able to look at this with some hindsight, and maybe things will be clearer about why he chose to pump this up the way he did. Although that's also part of his job. I
need to go back and watch again, because I remember thinking that Prope seemed a little annoyed with Sophie B, that she used her advantage in a way, when she said, Stephen said, no, he doesn't have an advantage, and Jeff was like, and neither do you, Sophie. I almost thought he said that with annoyance.
A little snapping on her,
yeah.
Huh? Well, it was because she was pushing the humiliation angle a little bit, that she was going to snatch that away from him in the way she presented what she was doing. She
talked about getting even with Stephen because, he did write her name down once upon a time. Yeah. But of course she did all that against him. But
no, she had already done that too.
No,
she
but this was her ultimate.
Yeah.
I'm taking it away from you.
Yeah.
And we're going to vote you out.
It's all big moments. She also said
that just fizzled.
And I think it was a tweet this week that she was the one who gave Rizzo the idea to pretend that his idol expired at 6 as another twist he could play.
And hoping that the jury would hate it.
I don't know if she's that
Maybe
devious. Good deal. Thanks, Pat. Next up, we got a call from Logan, voice from the past.
This is Logan from Vernon, British Columbia, Canada, and I think I have the record for the longest amount of time between calls into the Joanne and Stacey podcast. I think I last called in during Survivor Samoa, where I compared Mike Barassi to Confucius, or I may have called in during Survivor Nicaragua. I am just blown away that this podcast is still around. That's pretty awesome. Especially, I think when I last called in, I would have been in my first or second year of university, and now I'm 34 years old. And I'm actually going to Palau on vacation in 4 weeks, so good for me. Anyways, it's been interesting to note with this season that they decreased the number of, they haven't really re-hidden idols as much as you would expect compared to the past 20 seasons or so. So it's an interesting format change to note that they didn't just have somebody find another hidden immunity idol the last episode, and just smaller advantages, but nothing that's been too over the top like early on in the new era. And we don't have legacy advantages and whatnot that could really clog up the finale. But we will have a lot of. There are so many permanent twists we have in finales now. We'll have Rizzo's idol. There's bound to be a scavenger hunt at Final Five for an advantage. Fire making, which doesn't feel like a twist anymore just because it's been around for so long, but we've forgotten that it is just another major twist thrown in the game. And the fact we have Final 3 instead of Final 2, which, again, is a twist, but it's just been a part of Survivor for so long that no one really thinks anything of it now. And, of course, now the after show instead of a typical reunion. By the way, if you watch the Co-Wrong reunion show, I'm seated next to Dr. Joe in the audience. I happened to be visiting LA at the time, and I ended up being the seat filler that day. I had somebody else's ticket, and I was sitting next to Dr. Joe. Yeah, it's great to know that you guys are still around after all these years. I think I started listening originally around Survivor Fiji or Survivor China, probably China. All right, see ya.
All right, thanks, Logan. Great to hear from you again. I did a quick search in the email, and I think the last thing we got from you was back in 2010, so 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've been around for 20, or is it 21 now? I don't know. I can't keep up.
Yeah, 20. Yeah, we started in 2005. And Logan brings up some good points. There are definitely some things to be thankful from in terms of not an overabundance of advantages. We could also add not an overabundance of taking people's vote away from them this season.
That I like.
Yeah.
Well, we kept thinking they would, after Christina played her idol, they would put another one back out, but they didn't.
Well, we don't know that they didn't.
Oh.
We just know that no one's found another one. Yeah, that's all we can say at this point.
Well, if they wanted it found, they would put it where somebody would.
There's that too. Yep.
You know that.
Good deal. Great to hear from you again, Logan. Next up, we got an email from Mary in Maryland.
Somehow, I got full points this week. Well, congratulations. I think this is my best season yet in JSFL. It helped that the first several vote outs were pretty obvious. Unfortunately, I lost my USB Alex, so my points at the end might be limited. I'm curious what Sage and Christina's endgame is. I get that they felt that Stephen was a strong threat, but how did they plan to get any further? I hope we get more insight on their thought process next week. It was great that both Stephen and Sophie B kept their advantages to themselves for several episodes. I was disappointed to see them spill the secret to the others this week. I'm also not sure why Sage would ever think that Savannah would give up the challenge and let Sage take the win.
Yeah, still scratching my head on that one.
I had such high hopes for Sophie B. I pegged her as a possible winner from the preseason. I feel like I've waited all season for her to make a big move, and unfortunately, her mistake will probably go down in Survivor history as one of the biggest and most embarrassing. At this point, I believe Savannah and Rizzo have played the best games and deserve the win. Looking forward to the finale next week, but I'll also be sad that our weekly coming together over the show will be on pause for several months. All right, thanks, Mary. Actually, not that long.
Not several. Definitely not 7.
Oh.
It'd be more like 2. And I think we'll be back with the On the Grill show.
Before that. So,
Yeah.
not too long.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, Mary. Up next, we got a call from Anderson.
Hey, Joanne and Stacey, this is Anderson from North Carolina calling with my feedback for well, it's been a while since I got my feedback in, but I just wanted to say this episode was great. I got a vote off point after losing 2 safe points in a row. I am back in it. I could win the side challenge yesterday, win, which I think she will. I think, as you said, Joanne, it will be Christina, Sophie B, and then Rizzo, and then Savannah. But that's just me. I have to apologize. I will be getting my feedback in, but I'm going to try to for the finale. But it was a great episode. Amazing episode. I took a gamble. I put Savannah, Rizzo, and Sage all safe. That left me with Christina, Steven, and Sophie B, who I all had at 5 faithful. Or no, I had Christina at 4, so I put her safe. And then I had Sophie B and Steven. I had to pick which one of them to put as my vote at, not that myself. I think it's going to be Steven. I see Sage slipping, or Sophie using knowledge as power. I didn't even watch Tribal Capital. I just listened to your podcast. And 5 points. So until next time, bye.
All right. Thanks, Anderson. You have a unique approach to it. Good deal. Next up, we got a call from David.
Girl, you didn't know him 22 days ago. Just take the idol and suck it up. Hey, Joanne and Stacey, it's David in Pittsburgh. And I just want to say that I didn't call in last week because I was all ready to do it. And then I got my COVID shot and went home and just was really tired. And I thought, well, I'll send my response in the next day. And then all I kept doing was sleeping. And every time I get up, I think I gotta send in my message to Joan and Stacey. And finally on Saturday morning, I thought, you know what? You guys don't need me calling in at 11:55 in the morning. So I didn't do it. So we're coming to the end of a season that was really, really unpromoted. I think that the season 50 overshadowed it. And when Jeff finally said, well, stay with it because the second half is going to be bananas, it turned out to be soggy grapefruit. Yes, toward the end, I was really wondering about Sophie's choice, but in looking at previous episodes, the episode when she could have taken Christina's idol and didn't, I think that kind of told us that she was not going to make a big move. And then when she tried to do it, Stephen had already played his advantage. There was nothing left to take. Nevertheless, this was an episode that really had me at the end on the edge of my seat. One side thought they had the ammunition, it shifted. The other side thought they had the ammunition, it shifted, going back and forth. Like the episode in which Joanne got booted. Yay! I was blindsided then, and I was blindsided with this one. I have no idea what Sage and Christina were thinking. They could have taken out Sophie, and then it would be 3 against 2, and if Savannah didn't win immunity, they would take her out. But I think they were sticking with what they thought was another safe bet, and that's been the play for most of the cast this season. Yes, Rizzo is doing really well, psyching people out and talking to people and manipulating them, but it really takes a group of people not willing to make a big move for him to succeed. And Savannah has turned out to be a challenge beast. I hope she does win another challenge and gets up there with the top female winners. So the only way this season can be redeemed for me is if Rizzo or Savannah wins. I can't see any of the other 3 winning, making me feel satisfied. Feeling great now that I have my COVID vaccine, and I'll talk to you guys at the finale. Bye.
Excellent. Thanks, David. I think this season will probably be remembered as a tragic example of playing not to lose.
Or playing to win to get on another season.
Yeah. That's how that enticement could have really messed it up, warped it. Good deal. Thanks, David. Next up, we got an email from Tara in New York. Hi, Joanne, Stacey, and Survivor friends. After this episode, it's a good thing I don't call in with my thoughts right away like Pete. If I had, the next few minutes would sound like one long bleep. I was so riled up that I immediately wrote out angry feedback condemning everyone for being complete idiots. Luckily, I decided to wait before hitting that send button. After listening to the exit interviews and some other commentary, I've calmed down a bit and have a few thoughts that won't need bleeps.
I know how you feel.
I think many of the mistakes this week stem from Rizzo's idol. Sorry, Stacy, but I have to agree with Joanne on this one. After all of Rizzo's antics, it's crazy that even the rocket scientists just accepted the idol expired at 6. As far as I can remember, we've seen them expire after 1 or 3 tribal councils before the merge, but otherwise I think they've always been good until Final 5. Someone should have at least questioned it. Yep, certainly there on the last part. Judging by Sage's "you freaking turd" comment to Rizzo after the vote, she was counting on him playing the idol, and it was a big factor in the vote. That leads me to Sage. Since Stacy asked about Sage's logic, I thought I'd share something I found interesting. Of course, SFP is always my fave, but I try to catch the Know-It-Alls podcast too. This week, I was blown away when Stephen Fishbach gave his coveted Fishy Award for strategy to Sage. Basically, he said that if Sage believed she could only win sitting next to Sophie and Christina in the final 3, her move made sense. She thought Rizzo was playing his idol and Savannah had immunity, so her only option was to vote out Stephen. That said, I still think she made a mistake. The jury seems to love Sage, and judging by eye rolls alone, they haven't been overly impressed with either Rizzo or Stephen. In my eyes, she would have been better off taking her chances against Stephen in the hopes he could beat Savannah for immunity. Now, I will be very surprised if she makes it past the next vote. So long story short, I still agree with you, but that does provide some insight. Yeah. On the other hand, the one decision I still can't fathom is Sophie's. I did a full faceplant when she spilled the knowledge is power secret after all this time. Those must have been some amazing tacos or maybe really strong margaritas. I held on to a sliver of hope that she'd listen to her grandmother, but she gave up $1 million instead. To make things worse, it seemed like Rizzo thought he might go home and still kept the idol for himself. Even if she learned from that, it's probably too late to turn her game around at this point.
She might go home.
Before I go, I wanted to quickly mention one more thing I haven't heard discussed. What did you both think about Rizzo openly talking to Savannah and Sophie about their votes right before he walked up to Jeff with the idol? I was very surprised it was allowed, so I would love to hear your thoughts. I think in the past they've had him not be able to talk anymore.
That seems to have gone out the window, and Rizzo feels free to do anything he wants to, and jump up, move around, and it goes back to what Jeff said before. If you ask, then I may say no, but if you don't ask,
well, and the carrot that's hanging out there is you could be on 50. So how do you differentiate yourself? And yeah, he's going to take all these opportunities and break rules or.
Yep.
The thing that makes it so difficult is that we don't ever get to see these are the rules for this season. Like if there was a rule book for the season, these are the hard, fast rules that we're going to run it by. Yeah.
I don't think they want that to be out there.
No, they want the leeway so they can't get caught, so they can't trip themselves up. It's just like helping Kenzie win the Final 5 immunity challenge a few seasons back. Since when was that okay? Anyway, as for the finale, I'm confused as a goat on AstroTurf. Nice reference, taking us back to 41. The edit has been so misleading sometimes that I could see almost anyone winning. Even though Savannah is still my USB, I'm crossing my fingers for Sage to pull off an unlikely win. Realistically, though, my vote-out order is Sage at 5, Rizzo losing fire at 4, and Savannah pulling out the win against Christina and Sophie in the final 3. I can't wait to hear from everyone else after such a crazy episode. Thanks, Joanna Stacy, for everything you do. As always, happy finale week, all. Thanks, Tara. Good job. Got a lot to think about there for sure. Yeah, it's really sort of boiling down to and highlights the fact that this is sort of a core principle of the storytelling with the edit is that you don't really get to see the social balance, where people stand socially with each other, and how they're perceived by the others.
The only thing I could think of is that Sage, Sophie, and Savannah, if they were promising Sage that they would take out Rizzo, and that the 3 of them would go to the finale. They'd take out Christina, Rizzo, and they'd be final three that could get Sage to vote the way she did. Christina, I'm assuming she couldn't get anyone to go her way, so she just went with the majority. And so that she wasn't the obvious one holding out. So, but that's the only reason I could think of that. And that could be true since the extra video was talking about, Savannah was talking about she wasn't ready for Sage to go yet.
Yep.
So
Good deal. Thanks again, Tara. Next up, we got a call from Shahin.
Hi, Joe and Stacey, and to all the Survivor fans. Hope everyone is well and safe. I have big fears for the future of this game. It looks like there's a lot of things that have come out. I think we kind of forget what happened early on in this season because we've been so clouded by everything that's happened post-merge being so disappointing. We all forget that pre-merge was horrible. Right? There was the elimination and near destruction of the Keller tribe. It was quite horrible to watch. It was a bad watch. And a lot of people have drawn parallels between 48 and 49 when I look at the Reddit. I'm not a big Reddit guy, by the way, but I went on Survivor Reddit because I really needed to check it for myself. Am I the only one that seems to think this season is just a really bad season? A lot of people are comparing it to 48. A lot of people think that 48 was a bad season. 48 was maybe an apathetic season, whereas maybe 49 is just a purely bad season. What do you prefer? Something that's got some sort of excitement or TV moments, which is what this season seems to have thrown, or do you prefer 48 where it's just very monotonic and apathetic? I don't know. I honestly don't know because I think this season was just genuinely a bad watch, especially post-merge. And I think we've got a jury where some of these moves are really clear. None of them are going to regard Sage's game at all. She's thrown a lot of those people out there, and the moves were not strategic moves. They were emotionally driven moves. She's an emotionally driven player. Steven, who was in her alliance, yes, he's a threat. No, I have no investment in Steven. I like him as a player, probably my favourite player this season, but I don't have JSFL. I don't have any inclination towards him. I didn't care. I wanted a good player to win this game, and I thought he was a good player. He was not the quote-unquote threat. When clear line in the sand motion made last week, you had to get rid of either Savannah, Sophie, or Rizzo. That had to be the move, right? And if you couldn't get rid of Savannah because she won immunity, it had to be Sophie, right? Rizzo wasn't going to make the move. It had to be it. For you to betray Steven, and I just think Christina and Sage, they are very, very poor players. I don't care if I cop any flack. I just think for the first time in a long time, you're taking two goats with you. It'd be stupid not to take these two with you to the final three. Any one of the power three that are playing at the moment, take them, any one or two of them with them to the end, you've won the game super, super easy, like a complete wash. So, look, this season's been a really, really poor season for me. I think that any one of the three deserve it. Look, it was a season packed with a lot of controversy. There was the two people, there was that Matt talk issue, there was a potential of a third person that was involved in Matt talk. Apparently there's been a lot of behind the scenes issues with this season before production had started filming. So I don't know where we go from here. The ratings have been an all-time low apparently. And they seem to then try to gaslight us for Jeff and co, thinking that this game's going swelling, but look, I don't think it's going well at all, and yeah, I don't know how 50 is going to go. Anyway, thanks for what you do. You guys do a really good job, and my thinking is Rizzo's going to win the game. Anyway, thanks for what you do. Cheers, bye.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see the parallels as much with 48. I think that's probably just a recency thing, although there is some comparison between Mitch and Sophie B in terms of not doing anything. At least Sophie B actually took action, even though it was the wrong one. For me, the parallels with 46, it too started with a disaster tribe. I remember that's the one that brought us Banu. And then the gross ineptitude of castaway after castaway getting voted out with an idol in their pocket. In terms of poor gameplay, 46 and 49 seem very similar. And that's if I had to pick another one to compare it to, that's what it feels like to me. Good stuff. Thanks, Shahin. Appreciate that analysis. Next up, we got a call from Kim.
Hi, Survivor fans, Joanne and Stacy. Man, Sophie blew it last week. And they've blown their options to get out Rizzo or force his idol. It's just so disappointing. But this is what I think is going to happen. I think that Sage is going to get voted out next, even though I'm not happy about it. So I'm putting Rizzo Savannah and Sophie in final 3. Christina is the GOAT who can't make fire, and I won't be that happy with that result. I think of that outcome, Savannah's in first place, Sophie's in second, and Rizzo's in third. Unless Rizzo has more Riz than I'm giving him credit for with the people who are on the jury. What I wish would happen is that Sage wins, because I think she's had the best game and she's made the most moves and she's come back from being the underdog. Then I would choose Sophie as the person I want to move next, but that's just emotions because probably Savannah deserves to be second. And then I'd be okay if Savannah won. And then I don't want Christina to win because I think she's a GOAT, and I don't want Rizzo to win because, sorry, I just don't want him to win. No matter what happens, it's been a fun season, and it's always great to be part of this podcast. So thankful that I found you those years ago. Take care, everybody. Happy winter holidays and New Year. See you in February for the Big 5-0. Kim from North Carolina, signing out.
All right. Thanks, Kim. Great to hear from you. Next up, we got an email from Liam in New York.
Hi, Joanne, Stacy, and fellow Survivor fans. Last week, when I was ready to bail on the season, you suggested I hang in there for the last couple of episodes. I don't blame you two for my decision to watch an episode with such bad gameplay, and it should go down in the record book. I am a big boy and can make decisions for myself, so my decision to watch last week was all on me.
It could have been.
That said, I don't know if I will watch a 3-hour finale where I have no attachment to any player and where I know I will only be upset at the outcome. I think instead I'll only listen to your recap and the listener feedback show. As bad as this season has been, your twice-a-week shows never fail to entertain and delight me. And I've never found myself screaming at my podcast app the way I yell at the TV this season. Well, thank you. When watching this week's episode, I tried a new tactic so that I would not end up frustrated and angry. I decided to root for bad gameplay. The worse the better, and I wasn't disappointed. Surely Sophie's bungled use of the knowledge is power advantage, coupled with Sage's decision to vote with Savannah once again, will go down as the worst played tribal council ever, topping Eric's giving away his idol to the Black Widow Brigade all those years ago.
Whoa, okay.
All right. Good reference. I don't often listen to Jeff's podcast, but I did listen this week just to hear Jeremy Collins' reaction to Sage and Sophie's gameplay. Because the tone of Jeff's podcast is so rah-rah, I was happy to hear Jeremy express his disappointment in the play at Tribal Council. I was hoping for a loud, "Are you kidding me?" reaction, but was at least grateful to hear him sigh and mutter, "It's not what I would have done." It must have been hard for one of the hardest playing contestants in Survivor history to contain his frustration at the poor gameplay. My issue with Rizzo is his massive ego and his continual playing to the camera. Great players don't need to play to the camera. They just need to be great at the game and be a good storyteller when talking to the producers. Rizzo lost me in the first episode when he called himself Riz God. Luckily for him, he is surrounded by such mediocrity that it makes him look like a mastermind in comparison.
I think that's a great summary.
And with Savannah, I can't say they've shown real gameplay from her at all. Yes, she is a challenge beast, but her strategic gameplay seems minimal, at least what the editors show us.
Right.
Okay, one last rant. Given Sage's connection to Boston Rob, I can only imagine what his reaction will be the next time he sees Sage. "Are you freaking kidding me? What's wrong with you?" Here's my prediction for the final 5. In 5th place, Sage. 4th, Christina. Funny, as I was writing this, I could not remember her name. I guess that says it all.
You and Joanne both.
No, I keep calling her. But anyway, I keep mispronouncing her name. Katrina, that's what I keep saying. In 3rd place, Sophie. 2nd place, Savannah. and first place, Rizzo. Your podcasts have truly been the only bright spot in a terrible season. The two of you and the community of fellow Survivor fans made this season worthwhile, so thank you. Sorry to be such a Debbie Downer in my 2 emails this season, but well, season 49. Enough said. All right. Thanks, Liam. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Up next, we have a call from Joe.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy and all fellow Survivor fans. This is Joe from Huntersville. I am reaching out to provide feedback on what has been a deeply frustrating season. Jeff claimed this season was going to take off, but I am only happy that the finale is next week and this sucky season will be over. The most recent episode was, in my opinion, the worst strategic episode in recent memory. The old saying is that great players play chess, not checkers. Well, this cast isn't playing either. They are playing Chutes and Ladders or Candyland. The correct game-changing move would have been eliminating a major threat like Rizzo, the Weasel, or Savannah, the Puppet Master. This would have shifted the game's trajectory and made the rest of the season at least watchable. Instead, we got mindless, idiotic play. We have now 2 goats, Sage and Christina, who acted like they accomplished a monumental task by voting out Steven, who is not a big threat. This episode simply stunk and should have been called The Goats That Roared. The current course of the game offers no entertaining scenario for a strong contestant to win the $1 million. Frankly, if I wanted to watch mindless play, I could just watch a Cleveland Browns game. If season 50 begins with this level of strategy, I'm considering dropping out, as the show is simply not as entertaining as it once was. I must add, Joanne and Stacy, that your show is the only reason I am still watching. Thank you for all you do. This is Joe, signing off.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, it's fans like you contributing and being a part of it, where we all get to share together, that
keeps us going.
Well, it keeps us going, and it elevates the whole viewing experience. We get to see things from different perspectives. Sometimes we're just commiserating with each other, and other times we're able to step back and learn something new about ourselves or about others in that process. And so, yeah, we know we got something special here in our little corner of the internet, and we deeply appreciate you and all the others. Next up, we got a call from Johnny.
Hey, Joanna, Stacy, and Survivor fans. It's Johnny from Wisconsin calling here. Wow, that episode was nuts. I still want to laugh at Steven's quote a week and a half ago where he said that his block of vote would be 10 times more valuable with 6 people in the game than 7. I just laughed so hard at that. No way, buddy. No way. Of course, everyone's going to talk about Sophie. But I want to quick talk about Sage. Because now that she made this proper move, because there's no way she was going to be able to beat Steven, it's unlikely she'd be able to beat Rizzo. Savannah, we'll see. Obviously, she can beat Christina. She can beat Sophie. Sophie's become the ultimate dog with that move. So honestly, it puts Sage almost in a better position than she was just an episode or 2 ago. And then especially if she finds something in that bag, it's on the next time on. So if there's something for her there, and she was able to scrap around and get that little advantage when it was the merge episode. So you never know. She is pretty decent at finding stuff. So I guess she's just our new underdog we get to cheer for. But honestly, it's kind of Rizzo's game to lose, especially because we've been talking about Savannah's social game probably not being as good, and we're not really being told that either, just to keep it more interesting. But I could see a lot of people not wanting to give Savannah the $1 million just based on personality. Maybe she talks about what she does for a living a little bit, and sometimes that just makes people not want to vote for you in the end. Well, excited for the finale for sure, but I am not going to stop thinking about how nice Sophie would have been sitting at this point. Ooh, boy. So, all right, I'm in it with all you guys. We'll see you next week.
Excellent. Yep, what could have been.
Yeah, I really do think it cost her $1 million. Because I truly think she could have won the whole thing with if she'd taken Rizzo's idol and got herself to the end.
Certainly seems like it would have given her better chances. Good summary. Thanks, Johnny. Next up, we got a call from Jill. 2 calls from Jill.
Hi, Joe and Stacey. Hi, Survivor fans. Jill in the Outback here. Normally, I like to listen to your recap podcast and make sure I didn't get the wrong end of any sticks. And this time, bugger it, I've just finished watching it, and I just want to say I hate this season. I hate all the players. It is the worst season I think I've ever watched anyway. I don't really want to give any of them $1 million, but maybe Savannah is the only one that I could bear. There's no way in the world that Sage deserves it. Christina shouldn't have been there from the get-go. Soph, she had the absolute perfect opportunity to make a big move to get the jury on her side, but she just blew that. Rizzo has been annoying with all these games that he plays, and I think Savannah is the one that has worked hard in challenges, has won the challenges. I don't think her social game has been the best. She's put people offside, but she's always managed to have somebody in front of her that has been voted off. So, perhaps her social game hasn't been so bad after all. I do need to know if Stephen told Sage and Christina what his advantage would do and that they would have the numbers. So it would be even worse if they knew that and they still voted against him. I just don't know what to say. Except for perhaps bring on season 50. And in the words of Pete, I'm going to give this episode a great big ugh. Happy days, everyone. Bye. Hello, time for part 2. Of course, I have seen that Sage and Christina did know about Stephen's advantage and what he planned to do with it, and they still voted him out. It's just crazy because now those two have lost the numbers, and for all these weeks that they've had the numbers to be able to get rid of Rizzo and Savannah, and they haven't done it. They deserve everything they get. And the other thing I forgot to say was happy belated birthday to Addison. I hope you had a great day, mate, and I enjoy listening to your feedback. Happy days again, everyone. Bye.
Thanks, Jill. Enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Next up, we got email from Josh, the plush moose from Massachusetts. Dear Joanne and Stacy, I'm getting strong season 48 vibes, a dominant duo, flush with immunity and trinkets versus a disorganized opposition that refuses to pull the trigger. My read is that the tribe doesn't respect Rizzo's psych outs or Savannah's apparent lack of social skills. I'm afraid we'll either get Tres Leches or a goat rodeo in the final 3 seats. I hope it's not a goat rodeo. My other observations, Savannah's character is cold, calculating, and mechanically precise in challenges. She's not just a game bot, she's a fembot. I like that. That's a good summary. The real Sophie looks like the original, except for having red cheeks from embarrassed blushing. Only on Survivor does Taco Tuesday fall on a Wednesday. I'm curious if Sophie had taken Rizzo's idol, would Rizzo have had to state the real expiration date? At the reward challenge, what did Jeff mean by the final 6, the only people who were ever run this challenge?
Yeah, I wasn't sure about that either.
Will they take the challenge down afterwards? They're the only ones who ran it for actual Survivor immunity or reward.
Well, it sounds like they're retiring it going forward.
I think he was just trying to emphasize that they had made it to the final 6. That's all. And they were the ones out of this season that got to run it. I immediately thought, that engineering mind exception. Yeah, but the Dream Team's already run it a whole bunch of times.
Yeah, but you were wrong. So
why was I wrong?
I don't think that's what he was saying.
Christina intentionally tossed the bag backwards to lower her threat level. Not. That's good. Yeah. In a total shocker, Robo Savannah followed her programming and took Rizzo and Sophie to Sanctuary. For the second week in a row, we had an apparently accidental, unanimous blindside. Savannah said she was salivating from the mouth. It would have been weird if she had said elbow. Nate likes hat. One of the trio should have taken their sombrero to tribal to court his vote. That would have been awesome, yeah. Sage's karma wasn't missing out on letters. It'll be sitting next to Savannah when Savannah wins the check. Sophie's sign from God to not turn on Savannah and Rizzo actually reads, sale, bad tacos, $1 million. Stephen's first clue of his impending demise was the lack of response he got when he laid out his plan to Christina and Sage. Rizzo saw an advantage Armageddon. I saw advantage Armageddon with it. God.
Arg.
Meh. Get on with it.
Get on with it.
Sleeping with rats.
like
Isn't
that.
it? Yeah, that was good.
Arg, get on
I
with
fumbled it, but it's definitely good. Sleeping with rats isn't as bad or final as sleeping with the fishes, but I'd rather give both a pass. Rizzo's dad asked him, "Do you know whose son you are?" Is he giving Rizzo a 23andMe kit for Christmas? I thought that was a really weird phrase. That one stumped me in his letter there. It seemed odd and off, but maybe it's an Armenian phrase or something that's common.
We are winners.
Yeah.
We're winners.
Yeah, that's
Remember
what you're
whose
supposed
son
to.
you are.
Yeah.
We win.
Okay. Savannah is into yoga, Pilates, and strength training. So as soon as I saw the Captain Morgan challenge, I knew she'd win. The montage of bored people on the sit-out bench fairly screamed, "Are we there yet?" If it spoke volumes that everyone consoled Sage after she dropped while Big Cheese Savannah stood alone.
That's true.
Jeff says the game is fluid. Molasses is a fluid, so I guess he's not wrong. Space must be a weird place if you have to cut up spaghetti with a knife and fork. Is it legal for allies to discuss their votes after they're cast but before they're read? Yeah, good question. Next time, the finale, Christina goes splat. Challenge advantages grow on trees. Rizzo doesn't want to make Savannah mad, and the producers do a photo shoot. Did Jeff replace Savannah with a mannequin? If so, how can we tell? Anyway, that's it for me for now. Thanks, Joanne and Stacy, for all you do. Can't wait to hear what the other fans have to say. Stay safe, everybody. Thanks, Josh. Yeah, Savannah looks like a character right out of Westworld, doesn't she? Next up, we got a call from Jeremiah.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy. Hello, Survivor friends. Jeremiah here, and what can I say about this episode other than, that was so frustrating. Mainly, of course, frustrating for my 24-point USB Sophie. You're killing me, girl. I mean, I will say that was a very entertaining tribal council, and it had me going for a while. I wasn't quite sure what was going to happen. And then when the votes did come up for all of them for Steven, I was like, what? So I will say that. We've been saying for a while, this second half of the season has been very unpredictable, even though I did get full points this week. But yeah, this was, of course, Sophie's moment to shine, to be able to do that big move, take Rizzo's idol and use it for herself. And then hopefully, if she's lucky, she can get Rizzo out at that point. But if anything, it would have humiliated him and made herself look that much better. She knew that was the right move. She said so heading towards tribal council, but yet she sticks with Rizzo and Savannah. Oh, well, I'm not going to drag her anymore. I mean, I follow her on TikTok, and apparently she's been getting all kinds of death threats and horrible things said to her. So I'm not going to drag this person for making a mistake in the game. It's her game that she ruined. And at this point, the only way I see her winning is if she was to win out on the competitions and somehow is able to take both Rizzo and Savannah out. Because if she could sit next to Christina and Sage, I think she wins. But that seems like a long shot. As for Sage and Christina's choice to get rid of Steven, I understand it. I know Sage had said it right before Tribal Council that Steven was the second hardest person left in the game for her to beat, and she didn't want to go into the finale having to try to get rid of both Savannah and Steven. Sometimes you do have to take these risks once you get in the game. She probably looked, especially for Sage, she's probably looking at herself going, I cannot win if I'm sitting next to a Steven or a Savannah. But this big risk puts her in a position that probably will make her the next person to go. And that moves into my predictions. I said last week, if Savannah gets through this, I think she is our winner. I'm sticking with that. In fact, she'll probably win out when it comes to the competitions at this point, which means Sage probably will be fifth out. And where I differ with some people is I think Christina and Rizzo possibly could be our no-vote final three person. Now, Sophie's blunder here could put her in that category too. But after you hear people like Steven's exit interview and other people, the way they talk about Rizzo, they just don't take him seriously. They think he's just a dumb kid, I think. I do not think he's a threat at all to win. If it is Sophie, Savannah, and Rizzo in the final three, I think Sophie gets more votes. So at this moment, I've got Sage at 5, Christina at 4, Rizzo at 3, and Sophie at 2, and have Savannah as our winner. And that's it for me. You all take care. And until next time, this is Jeremiah from Southern California.
Interesting.
I
Love it.
like that.
Love the analysis there. That could be, yeah, it's a big question when we're trying to figure out our picks for the fantasy league. Is Rizzo a callback to Xander from 41? There's a whole bunch of people thought he was a shoo-in to win, but it turned out nobody in his season cared much for him. So that's when you just don't have the social credit, you'll show up empty at the end.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but I wasn't seeing it that they were that entertained by his antics.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't.
Yeah. Well, they were just really shoving him down our throats with the way he's been featured the whole season. And I got tired of that pretty early on.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jeremiah. Good analysis as always. Next up, we got a call from Jen.
Hi, everyone. This is Jen in California, and here are my thoughts on Survivor 49, Episode 12. Well, my overwhelming thought coming off of that episode was, I just don't know anymore. Watching the episode, it just seemed like all they could do was hype up, hype up, hype up. I mean, kudos to Savannah for winning immunity and the reward. I guess you can hype up Savannah for that. But other than her amazing challenge performances, the rest of her edit on the show is just making her look so bad. Her confessionals were catty. They showed her multiple times just kind of brushing off the idea of getting letters from home. Not just one confessional, mind you, but multiple confessionals. They had her saying, letters from home, I could take it or leave it. The show is really leaning into her not being a likable character. Another thing that they completely overhyped, only to have us be massively let down, was Sophie B's play of her knowledge is power advantage. I mean, we heard confessionals ad nauseum from her, weighing the pros and cons of taking the idol from Rizzo or taking the advantage from Steven. And again, using the footage that they did of her, they set her up to take a massive fall and to look so bad. With all the footage that they showed us of her reading her letter from home, talking about watching Survivor with her grandmother, telling us several times that what her grandmother would recommend for her to do is to take the idol from Rizzo. And I'm going to make a big move. I've got to do the work. I'm going to do the work. We're shown all of that, only to have her turn around and ask Steven for an advantage that isn't even there. Being wrong is embarrassing enough, but I have to imagine Sophie watching that back the other night had to be just humiliating. I felt uncomfortable. I felt like Survivor kicked her when she was down. And then Christina and Sage voting for Steven, a unanimous vote? I will never understand that. And if I wasn't certain before, I am certain now that the sensationally bad gameplay by all of the other players is contributing a whole lot more to Savannah and Rizzo looking good than Savannah and Rizzo are. I mean, at this point, one of them is going to win the game. I'm going to put my vote on Rizzo to win, simply because I think that Savannah has come off as unlikable, and I believe that the players also believe she's unlikable. So my final order is going to be Sophie B going out 5th, Sage going out 4th. I don't know. Somehow Christina's going to beat her in fire, because I have Christina in 3rd with no votes, Savannah in 2nd place, and Rizzo taking it all simply because he is the lesser of the two evils. That's it for me. I can't wait to hear everyone else's thoughts on this episode. We'll see how the finale goes, but I do believe that Survivor 49 is going to end up just being known as the season before season 50. Till next week.
Yeah, I love that we keep getting that back and forth, right? People are thinking, well, this is why it could be Rizzo, this is why it could be Savannah, and this is why it's tough for it to be either one of them. Yeah, the stinkeroo season. Yes. Good job, Jen.
Well, you know, people keep thinking of Rizzo as a kid, but isn't he in his 30s?
No, I don't believe so.
He's not?
No, I don't think so.
I thought he was older than he appears. We'll have to look that up.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't think he was all that young.
Good deal. Next up, we got a call from Paul.
Hey, Paul in Louisiana here, and all I can say, or rather ask, is it's got to be a lack of food, right? I mean, there has to be a reason, so let's go with this. Although there have been a few other seasons of this show, and I really can't think of any other group of people not understanding the consequences of their actions quite like these buffoons. And I know that we know more than they do as they play the game, and that we get to see it from different perspectives, but come on, this stuff is fairly obvious. And I just don't know who to be more disappointed in. Clearly Sage, but I've always viewed her as a wild card, so yeah, I'm not all that disappointed in her. But Christina and Sophie B proved to me that I'm a glass half full person, because I really thought that they had their heads in the game, enough to know what was best for them anyway. And I guess it's my fault though, because Rizzo and Savannah are playing for the number one spot, and I've only just realized that Christina Sage and even Sophie B only want to be in third, fourth, or fifth place. And I know that people will be saying that they don't even want to watch this last episode, but I'm dying to see Sage realize that she isn't going to get any closer to Final Three than she is right now. I mean, come on, girl. If Savannah wouldn't hand you the win at the last challenge because you asked politely with fake tears, then what makes you think she'll do it this time when you can't outlast her again? And you're as nervous as a pair of shins in well, never mind. And Sophie, yeah, I guess she is my biggest disappointment. That girl could have had such a feather in her cap by taking Rizzo's sacred idol that he displays each and every tribal, and then voting him out, or Savannah. But instead, her advantage is now just an embarrassment to her gameplay. She's at least right about that. And she knew darned well what she should have done. She just didn't follow through. You know how you're never supposed to go grocery shopping on an empty stomach? Well, I guess in Survivor, the best thing to do is to make your tough decisions before you go on a reward with somebody that you're strongly considering to vote off. Or, in shorter terms, listen to your grandma. Well, at least Amazing Race helped lighten my mood afterwards. But in my notes here, I have the following show observations, starting with, is it me, or are we having a lot of challenges where you have to toss beanbags on top of platforms up high on poles? I almost feel like this happens once or twice a season now, but I could be wrong. Then I loved how, at the immunity challenge, Rizzo claimed that the wind really screwed him up. Yeah, okay. And for some reason I have numerous things here written down that make absolutely no sense to me now, save for the line that says, "Shut up, Jeff, I just want to get to the vote." So there you have it. Aside from me saying that Sage goes next and Savannah gets the win, I'm going to hold back on my criticisms of this season until it all plays out. Everyone take care and enjoy the finale. Bye.
Excellent. Thanks, Paul.
Well, I expect that to be good.
What?
After it's over and we get to hear.
Oh, yes. Yeah, definitely. What an interesting season. Will we get any fireworks in the finale? This is our big question. What would be the most exciting turn for you?
To go back in time and have Sophie take Rizzo's.
Okay, in the actual finale, not the imaginary finale.
I don't know if I don't see any big saving anything at this point.
What if Rizzo and Savannah turn on each other in Final Five? What if Savannah doesn't win? And like you were talking about earlier, Rizzo builds an alliance to vote her out at 5. Could be an exciting
I think
turn.
He should try.
What if he ends up...
But then what's to stop the three of them?
Who wins next?
Sage winning the challenge and the Sage, Sophie, and Christina vote Rizzo out.
Well, they don't vote. You've got the fire making challenge. So Sage would have to pick two people
right.
We're building excitement here. So an alliance formed and voted out Savannah at 5. And now Rizzo ends up facing off against Christina in the fire making challenge. And Christina, they go to matches and Christina wins and beats Rizzo.
Okay, then give her the win.
Yeah. Well, Sophie B's there too.
Oh, but she's sorry, dud. I give her no credit anymore.
I'm
sorry.
struggling. I'm trying to come up with something that would make it exciting.
It's just that is burned into my brain at this point. It's just dud. And
the least exciting finale is who? Which 3? The least exciting final tribal council. Who's going to take it to Struggle Town?
I don't know.
Well, I'm going to say Christina, Sage, and Sophie B.
Okay. That could be interesting.
That could be interesting?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not trying to make it interesting. I'm saying which is the least exciting.
Yeah.
What can they come up with? Yeah. How can they differentiate?
I'm trying to have an attitude adjustment, but I'm not there yet.
Okay. I'll quit pressing. So who would have thunk that Farts and Zits Girl and self-proclaimed Mom on Vacation are not the greatest strategic thinkers that have ever played the game? And you got Sophie B proving herself as the queen of the disaster tribe. She really put the cherry on top of Kella. That's just like the final goof for that tribe, and what a mess they've been.
I don't know how you get over that egg on your face kind of thing. And just think she's had to deal with knowing this was coming. And she's going to have to deal with.
Well, she's been running interference in social media all this past week, trying to. She even.
I mean, come on, it's just a game, right?
Yep.
It's a move. She made a move. It didn't work.
And as much as we would prefer that everybody played great games, this is also extremely realistic in that we all fail. And fail at multiple things, at multiple steps in our life.
I think the real reason that everybody's so bummed about it is we had pinned all of our hopes for saving the season on Sophie B.
Yeah.
And her making
squandered potential.
A big move of taking Rizzo's idol away.
Right.
Because he didn't play it for 8 tribal councils. Or is it 9 now? I don't even know anymore. But, I think, for me anyway, all my hopes were kind of banked on that. And then when it just fizzled and burned, it was like, okay, that's it. I don't even know where to go from here.
Well, I think there could be a little excitement if Savannah and Rizzo turn on each other. If they decide, you know what, I don't want to sit beside that person. I want to increase my chances for Final 3. I don't want you to be mad, Savannah, but I am going to be playing to win. And
I think they should do that. I think they're crazy if they don't. If they really think it's her or me, or him or me.
You don't think they can sit together and think that they have the best chance? I think these are two people who think they have the best chance to win, regardless of who's there with them.
I do think they could convince themselves of that easily. And so they may not feel the need to do it.
Right.
Would I like to see them do it? I think so.
That would bring some fireworks, some excitement to it. And anyway, we will get a preview of season 50 once this one's over.
Well, if Savannah has a good social game that we haven't been shown, this is where I'd like for them to show it to us.
Yeah, that it becomes more apparent. Hopefully they'll be able, because that's the thing they always hide, is the social elements get hidden.
Because
that's why we're always frustrated with the winners, because we weren't able to connect the dots to see that.
We didn't get enough information to see where they were going with it.
They were withholding it because it would make things more obvious.
Right.
So this is one of the things they do to build surprise.
But show it to us at some point, people. Come on. But, you think about if they're going head to head and Rizzo's working his magic on the people and Savannah's working her magic. Well, let's see whose magic is working better and how they go about it. That's what I'd like to see.
Well, we will be there and we will be watching for sure. We want to thank everybody who took time to send in your thoughts and predictions and your assessments of the season. We enjoyed all of that. We love hearing from you.
And I appreciate everyone's passion. I loved Jill's passion of, well, I usually wait, but I can't wait. Because, we all know I was kind of feeling I don't have the luxury of waiting. We have to sit down and do it right away. And it's like sometimes it's you don't process. I still haven't processed completely, but and may not process the rest of the season. I don't know.
You have to decide if it's worth the energy.
The energy, yes, or if I have the time and energy.
Yeah.
So. Okay, don't forget if you're playing in JSFL to make your final 5 order pick. And please don't give up no matter what your score is, because there are more points to be gained in the finale than the whole season together.
Yeah, we see dramatic shifts.
And you do not know who will win until it's all said and done, because especially this season, you have no idea.
Lots of uncertainty.
How this could. All right. Well, I'm excited for the finale on Wednesday, so we'll be back with our recap after the finale.
Have a good one.